Okay, and the last problem for today is this income tax problem, and this is kind of a typical piecewise problem to look at. So you can see how different levels of income, you're going to have different tax rates, and this is perfect timing for April. So we've got the tax rates for a single person in 2005. So to write this table as a piecewise function, we're going to think about the fact that you have this function that is your tax rate on your income, so the R and the I. And so 10%, of course, written as a decimal is 0.10. So at $0, which really you're not going to be at $0, you're going to have zero taxes. But anything above zero qualifies for this 10% tax rate. And then up to the 7150, so up to 7150 is going to include that. And then from 7151 up to and including 2950 and so on. So now there is the table written as a piecewise function. You can see that there are steps, or steps. I think sometimes is a step function is better than this piecewise. Maybe to talk about this. So the steps are not the same length, they're not the same distance apart, but it certainly is when I think of steps, I'm thinking broken up. So so how am I going to graph this? Well, first we've got to make sure to label the axes. So I am going to put income as my independent variable, and the tax rate then as the dependent. So the tax rate depends on how much money you're making. So starting here with $0, you are going to have a 10% tax rate. So I would start here, and that's going to continue up to this 7150. Now, I think I've got this broken up so that each one of these little tick marks is 20,000. So, I mean, that's barely going to be seen on the graph. I mean, they're going to be so close together, you don't even need a line between the two. And then at 7151, it's going to jump up and go to a 15% tax rate. So I think I've got 5 between these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I need 15%, it's going to be, so 5, every one of these is 2, so 2 for about halfway through here, and then it's going to continue to the 2950. So 2950, this is 20,000, that's 40,000. So again, it's a very small interval, somewhat further apart than this one here. If I had a bigger graph, I could make my scale a little bit more spread out. That would certainly be helpful. So and then from 2951, so at 2950, that's how much I'm going to pay. But at 2950, anything above 2950, so I don't want to have a closed circle there, I'm going to be charged 25%. So that again is going to be, let's see, that would be 2, 4, 6, so halfway between, right about here, and all the way up until 70,000. So 70,000 would be just short of the 80. So let's see, that's 100, that would be 80, this would be 60, so somewhere right around the middle here. So now I finally get to use one of these little segment pieces here, and you can see that this is certainly moving its way up. So now I'm going to be charged 28% when the income is 7351 or 7. So I go 7350. What is that? 28%. So that one should be right on this line, because I did these in multiples of 2. Up to, now this has got a big jump, all the way to 146,000. So there's the 100,000, and that would be 120, 140, and 160. So 146 is going to be just slightly over that 140, because halfway between would be the 160. So I'm going to have a segment. I've got to make this segment slightly longer. So I'll try and do the best I can out here to kind of stretch that along. And then I have these connected, and let's see, the next jump is from the same 146, 751 until up to 319,000. That's going to be at 33%. So 33, that's 30%. 32, so 33 again is going to be halfway in between, and it's going to go all the way up to 319,000. So that's going to take us quite a ways over, and that would be 320 on the one just beyond it. So it's going to look like it's really at 320. It's going to be so close. And so there we have that. And then this segment right here needs to come and join up these two points on the graph. And so it should look like this. So, and last step would be the 35%, and 35% and will be at 319,101. So 35 would be just above that by the one step, because see, that would be there's 30 or 30%, 32, 34, 35. That's right. And then this will just be added. My computer's just lagging a little bit here. I think, and it only gets bad like this when I am using this split screen for some reason in the QuickTime. It's not wanting to work as nicely as it should. All right, so something along these lines is what you should be seeing. So, so that gives you an idea of what the graph should look like, and that should go on. Actually, if I did this correctly, that one should end with an arrow on it. So I'll put an arrow at the end. So that looks better. Okay, so this breaking up of the income tax rate is a perfect piecewise function. So let's see if we can use that now to answer some questions. So at what tax rate would someone filing single be taxed if they earn $40,000 a year? Now this is one that you got to be careful about, because the way this question is put on your paper, as someone who has a degree in accounting, the tax rate, it's not a flat tax. You're actually going to be charged on the first 39,000. You're going to be charged differently, but it's that last little bit when you look at up to 40,000. Yes, it's 25%. However, along the way, you're being charged 10 and 15% as well for other little pieces of it. So we will say the highest rate they are taxed is 25%. Okay, so at what tax rate would someone filing single be taxed if they earn $86,000 a year? So 86,000 would be somewhere between, just after this 80,000. So that's going to jump to the highest. Again, I want to kind of go with this idea that the highest they are taxed, they are taxed is 28%. Okay. For the people being taxed 33% or less, which bracket has the largest interval? Well, this is where the graph is kind of nice, because you can see that it's this bracket right in here at the 28%. So the 28% bracket has the largest interval. The 28% bracket has the largest interval. And the way that you can figure that out is you can take subtract the two numbers. Let's see what we have here. So using your calculator, here we go. So the 33% tax bracket right here would be, so you subtract this 146,751 from 319. So if I have, we could do it right here, it's fine because it's over on this page. We could do 319, 100,000, or is it 3? It's really slowing down on me. I think my battery is slowing down. So let's see, 319, 100, and then subtract. It's jumping on me because I am about to run out of batteries. So let's see if I can just go forward. Whatever that is, you can use your calculator and figure out what that bracket is. So let's go forward before this runs out of juice on me. So the last question says state the domain and the range for this function. So looking back here, of course the domain is going to be just anything greater than 0. So the domain, your x would be, or not your x, but your I, because we're labeling that with your income is going to be greater than, really, or equal to $0. Whereas your range, though, which is your y's, are going to be 0.1, comma 0.15, comma, and 0. What was other tax rates? Were they looks like that was 0.15, and then you have 0.25, 0.28. Okay, so so in here you're going to have 0.2. 0.25, comma 0.28, comma 0.33, and 0.35. So that would be your range. So I could make it look all pretty, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's enough for today, and I will see you guys on Monday. Don't forget that you've got a homework sheet that's very similar to this, and we'll check those notes on Monday. Have a good weekend, folks.